Yes. I just wanted to look at the actual, the court has jurisdiction over the parties, the minors, and the subject matter? Yes. Respondent had reasonable notice and an opportunity to be heard? Yeah. Notice of this hearing was served on the respondent by personal service, service by mail, and service by publication. The respondent received actual notice of the hearing. The respondent was or was not present. The order, this order in my actual hand, is issued as in at the moment of the issuance of it, in accordance with the full faith and credit provisions of the VAWA 18 USC 2265. Yes. Now, how can it be issued in accordance with the full faith and credit provisions of the VAWA? Yes. When you issue it for 10 years, without it actually being issued according, yes, to the actual requirement. See, it says service of the order, unless the respondent lawyer was present. This order must be served on the respondent after, yes, the respondent had been given actual notice of the hearing. Pooh, pooh, yeah. Now, you, well, you have to give the respondent actual notice. Now, you want, you know what? You've been lying to yourself. There is no place in the RCWs that make an exception to this whole concept of the respondent having notice of court hearings. You can't issue it and then say the respondent has to do this. And where it says visitation, you could say no contact, no visitation allowed. Yes. But well, well, if the law says yes, and that requires the order to say if the respondent received notice of the hearing and by what method, does it say the law requires the order to say that if the respondent did not receive actual notice of the court hearing, the respondent can motion the court after it's issued, and it can be fraudulently served on the respondent by any method that you want, because it doesn't have to be executed according to what the court orders. Now, since the judge needs to verify that service complied with court rules timely and proper, how can there be timely and proper court rules when you give no notice to the respondent that you're having court hearings? I have a real problem. Because I had about a 5-minute court hearing this morning that rescheduled me for the alleged violation of the protection order. Yes. And I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, well, whatever, we're going to do whatever you say because I'm not going to jail. Pooch. I have this one rule in life, the rule that says, I do not go to jail. And you violated my rule numerous times over the last 7 years. Mm-hmm. Now, I was spending some time with what is known as, yes, hang on just a second. I know I got it. I think it's here someplace. It's one of these screen prints that I made, but it might not work. Oh, how does the court decide where the children will live? The Office of Personnel Practices also reviews charges that an application for or holder of a professional certification lacks good moral character or personal fitness. These standards are set forth in the WAC 181-86-013 and address commission of criminal acts and other behavior which endanger children. Which endanger children. Commission of criminal acts may not be directly related to professional conduct. Yes, but they do reflect upon the trustworthiness of serving as a professional educator. Now, these acts, and other behavior that endanger the 5 minors named, yes, I would say it's very dangerous for a court to decide to issue orders that are in direct violation of the RCWs of the state of Washington, have me served by an individual that has no legal right to serve me, and then continue to prosecute me without a valid fucking protection order. Now, I'm going to try to remember here. I think I put it in this drive. Yes, just a moment. It's a type of literature that you receive when you work in a school district. Yeah. A school district that's enforcing a fraudulent protection order because the county and police departments don't want to remove it. Now, well, let me just see if I can find it here. Okay, school districts of the United States of America. You say that this is enforceable as a VAWA issued in accordance with the laws of the federal government. And I say, well, if you don't give me notice and opportunity to be heard before, you cannot verify the timely and proper. And then you cannot say, hang on just a second here. I think I have it here. It might be that. Nope. There, no, maybe I don't have it here. Hang on just a I, history of visitation, harmful effects of child abduction. It's a code of conduct. Um, the code of professional conduct for education practitioners. Teachers, Educational Staff Association Administration, State of Washington. Chapters 181 to 187, or maybe it's 181 to 87. The Washington AC, Professional Educator Standards Board Administrative Rules. Yes, yes. You know, I got an email from somebody that works in the school district in Montana, and I kind of made this blanket statement that if you know of child abuse, if you know of forgeries and fraud when issuing custody orders, yes, it does endanger the children that are involved. Now, that educator in that Montana school district, yes, might think that their education practitioners' code of professional conduct allows for them to have knowledge of that. But it doesn't. Now, I had some extra time on my hands, and I had spent most of the night not sleeping well, and then I had to walk around selling cigarettes, and I found out that the property manager had accidentally locked the back door, and then I had to go through the windows that were open. There was no problem. I understand these things happen. Sometimes people are absent-minded, thinking that all my personal items would be in a place where I wouldn't be able to contact the property manager, and I'd be walking around for weeks and weeks and weeks with no change of clothes and no change of socks, and I wouldn't have a sleeping bag, and I'd be out there in the cold, and then all of a sudden I'd be in jail, and then I'd be in a mental health facility. Now, let me just look at these pictures because I spent a little time with those that are educators. Yes. Can you tell me why? Why don't you get me the WACs, the WACs? Because as I read this, the Professional Code of Conduct, yes, for any school district to have knowledge of forgeries of elected oaths of office, yes, and then issue court orders where it says, all custody is given to my. Well, I'm kind of thinking that there might be a few lawsuits this afternoon.